It's the weekend, and that means time for another doubleheader in the world of drafters, where it's full point PPR, 500K to first place, and a very good likelihood of some overlay occurring in this tournament. Of course, the goal is once again to finish top 100 like I did last year. Just 9 entries, did that. Actually finished top 110 if I'm going to be accurate about it. But of course, I am already in a draft room here. I'm going to start it off in 20 seconds. Let's put up the drafter sticker. Good deals going on drafters as well. We'll get the plug out of the way fast because it's actually important for you guys. If you put in 6 entries this weekend, they give you 1 free entry in the drafters million. If you put in 6 entries 3 times, you put in 18 entries, they'll give you 3 free entries. So basically every 6 will give you a free entry. It goes along with them giving you a free one at 10, free one at 25, 2 free entries at 50. So you want to take the most advantage of the overlay going at drafters right now, where they might have, I'll do the math again because I've not done it in a little bit. See how much overlay potentially they'll have. All right, so they've gotten to 92,000 people, so almost a 50% fill. 92118 divided by 186,672. We will talk preseason in a moment as well. Just want to get this plug out there. So 49% filled right now. Again, basically a week and a half left to go. Yeah, I would say still look on pace for 75%-ish, which would be that 400K in overlay going in. Again, overlay, the most important thing you can do for yourself in best ball. I know we do love the underdogs of the world. Maybe you love DraftKings, even though DraftKings is going to have some overlay in their own tournament as well. But overlay is the best thing you can do for yourself because basically it means the site itself is putting money into the prize pool. It's not just other players who have entries. It's the site itself creating more money to go to people. And as a result, on drafters, you could finish a little bit higher, get more prize than you would have had otherwise if it were, let's say, a full tournament with lineups that would theoretically have a better shot at being better than yours. Even if yours is great, you're still going to have a better shot at them being better than yours, just given the volume that comes in. GM, our guy C40 is in here. So there we go. He is picking in the 2-hole. New sign up there. Appreciate it. And actually, shout out to all the drafters, new signups. Do you want to give them, let's see, give the proper plug here. Let's see. So all the folks who signed up lately, I believe since the last video, we got Cuddly Red Rum. So Cuddly Murder. That's a lovely one to see. Our guy C40 signed up. Zishoff, King J Rock, MEP. I don't give the numbers at the end. Bleed the Freak, Your Superman. And I think we had Grizzy last weekend. So there we go. Shout out to the new signups on drafters. Again, overlay's going to do good, and we'll see what we can do with this team. And what we're going to do with this team is start with Puka Nacua here. Puka Nacua, come on down. A couple of picks coming up, but let's talk about some of the preseason stuff as well. Going to go through again the PFF article. Nathan Yankee does the best job in the business doing all the preseason snap counts, snap shares, and all that. Coming up with takeaways that are maybe not 100% aligned with mine always, but I do think he brings a good perspective. So just linked his article on PFF in the chat if you want to check it out. Jaguar snap counts, though. Gabe Davis leads the way yesterday. Brian Thomas Jr. not too far behind. Parker Washington filling in for Christian Kirk. Again, plays about half the amount of reps overall in the slot as Gabe Davis. But overall, I think with Devin Duvernay, I believe that Duvernay was also playing out of the slot, so that would put it at 17 routes, which would mean that basically the slot is less than the guys playing out wide, but maybe a little more opportunity for Christian Kirk than it might seem, at least based off the first game. Marvin Harrison Jr. here feels like not a bad pick. Again, week 17 correlation doesn't really matter quite as much on drafters, but I like both players, and I don't get it enough on BBMs. That's basically how that goes. Anything else for the Jaguars? So Jaguars too. Evan Ingram caught 2 touchdowns. It's going to be a thing that most people talk about. He was very due for positive regression last year in terms of just getting better success on touchdowns. This year, though, more competition in the red zone should be coming his way. But he did have the 2 touchdowns. It was only on 9 routes run, though. So a little bit iffy there. And Ingram, too, split work a little bit more than you would think. Luke Farrell was in the mix for 12 snaps. Ingram 16. Brenton Strange got 5. So some of that's 12 personnel, but it does seem like Ingram not getting the full run out of being the lone tight end quite as much as he did in the past. Tank Bigsby also picked up 6 snaps in the game compared to 17 for Travis Etienne. So Etienne still safely ahead, but Bigsby hadn't played with the first team previously in the preseason. So again, a good sign for this drumbeat we've had for Bigsby, even though people don't like him. A lot of good drumbeat for him. Falcons didn't play starters again, so nothing too shocking there. Casey Washington, though, I think the usage is pretty interesting. He ran 19 routes, was targeted 5 times on the 19 routes. Washington playing the slot. I think it bodes well for the slot usages for Atlanta. So that's part of why I take Ray McLeod a good amount late. But Casey Washington, 27 snaps, led the way there. Seems like he's the leader of the second team here, but still playing behind Ray, Drake London, and Darnell Mooney, obviously Pitts as well. I'm sure Pitts might get some slot work too. So Washington buried for now, but Washington, I think, a similar play to Parker Washington, where something goes wrong there, he probably does come up. Both Washingtons can come up if something goes wrong in the slot for either the Jags or the Falcons. Nothing else to note here. Carlos Washington got all the backup reps. I think he's had a good enough camp based on reports, but probably not really a guy behind Algier and behind Bijan. That's pretty much it for that game, I think. And also, Brian Thomas had the one good play. That's what Brian Thomas is going to do. Still feel like the target earning. I'm not encouraged yet by his target earning in the pros, but he's going to break big plays. It's what he did at LSU. So I think what Brian Thomas is what he thought he would be, but I don't think he's more than people and I in particular thought he was coming out of LSU for sure. Check the chats real fast. Herzig is in there too. Hate to bring this up. You ever think about how your draft stalker may just have a different username on Drafters? It doesn't matter that much on Drafters, and it's possible, but I doubt it would given the fact that he has literally a hat with his username on it. As my first year doing a decent amount of best ball drafts, 170 total. Love the sound of overlay coming our way. It's the best thing you do for yourself. True of DFS, true of best ball. Just giving yourself money that's not player pool money is a really important thing, and that's what guaranteed prize pools are for. Buck snap count. So Jalen McMillan, you probably saw the big play for him on social media. Looked good. Certainly a great grab for him playing outside as well in that one. Chris Godwin started alongside him. Mike Evans didn't go. Ryan Miller was the third starter. It's kind of odd. All these guys played 3 snaps, so that's where that was. First team was all Rashad White. Bucky Irving came in as soon as Rashad White went out, so it's not a first team they're mixing in right now. It is him directly behind him. Still Bucky, I expect to get in the mix, and Bucky, I would say in the run plays look better. Rashad White had one big play in the pass game, I think for 17 yards. The Dolphins side, nice run play from Malik Washington. Nice quotes after the game from Mike McDaniel. Does seem like he is making his way to getting a few touches in the offense. But it is an offense where you have Tyreek Hill, where you have Jalen Waddle, you have the really good run game, you have Jonnu Smith coming in. Those are the main things I would still say from Malik Washington, but if you're taking a Dolphin in the last round, you have a Cleveland stack, you have Tua in Miami. I think you take Malik Washington maybe with a little more confidence given the way that they used him. Everything else in the game, starters sat. So Jonnu Smith sat, Durham Smythe sat. Nothing else really to note here. RBs, Jeff Wilson was going, so obviously he's clearly not part of that top group. And then Jalen Wright came in after. So kind of seems like Jalen Wright would be buried. Yeah, 4th on the depth chart is what PFF is saying. Nathan Yonke is saying at PFF. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, nothing else. Yeah, the Bucky thing we talked about. Raiders in their game. No starters going in this one. Dylan Labe went for the halfback starting spot. Didn't think he did particularly great. Let's make our pick. We'll talk more about it. We got Stephon Diggs here. Derrick Henry here. Derrick Henry in this format, I don't mind. Though with this guy, do you think he takes Derrick Henry or does he start to get receiver? Because if I get Diggs and Henry, I feel like that's a little bit better. I'm going to do that. I'd also be okay getting ATN back, to be honest. But I think there's a little bit of a tier break with Diggs, Pittman, Tank, some of these guys. So Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison, Stephon Diggs start here. Draft number 1. Drafters. Stream draft number 187 for me on the year. So that's how we're going. And we got Derrick Henry back. Win-win. So another week 17 correlation. We're racking them up. But also just 2 players I like here. Derrick Henry, probably don't have enough of in BBM, given I think he's got a good outlay. I like receivers more in the range generally. Unable to get T. Higgins, by the way, on any platform now that I want to get him. But great camp for T. Higgins. Really great reports for him being the functional wide receiver 1. Wright being buried really sucks. Look, he can dig his way out as contingent value, but I was never in on him, so I can't really empathize. but like I don't know what you expect though. They brought in Achane last year. Achane proved himself. You're gonna bring in another guy, and he's gonna carve out even more. Like I thought, the best case for Wright was getting 10%. Now you just hope he's active on game days. Maybe you can win a special teams role. That'd be the hope. And we got Justin Herzig picking right here. I think also the former FTN founder, I think is this guy. I don't know why he has a PFF logo, but he does. I think he left FTN, so there we go. Some luminaries in this draft room. Everybody shows up here for the drafters doubleheaders on Splash, but I think we all know that the stars, they can't help themselves. What else to note here for the Raiders? Nothing really. Trey Tucker didn't go, so Trey Tucker locked into a role, it seems. Thought that was kind of interesting. Besides that, though, it was Alex Bachman, Jalen Guyton going, Christian Wilkerson. Nothing really that exciting here. Mayer, obviously, Bowers, whose foot still hurts. Those guys didn't go. Niners did have more guys going than expected. Obviously, no Brandon Ayuk. So Deebo Samuel started alongside Chris Conley and Jacob Cowing. So Robbie Chosen also got some work. Conley was the one who was ahead of that second group. Conley had 15 snaps, Cowing 11, Robbie Chosen 9. Deebo and Kittle led the way with 22 and 24 snaps, respectively. But Kittle gave a few tight end snaps with the first team to Braden Willis, Jake Tongas, Eric Saubert. So maybe a little bit of pressure taken off of Kittle the same way that Kelsey's expected to get in Kansas City. But overall, the Debo thing, he's the main guy there. And so we get Ayuk back. And I guess it would be then Debo, Ayuk, and Conley being the primary group. But Juwan Jennings was held out of this game too. I didn't see why. Juwan, is he on here? He's among the players noted before the game but didn't play. So maybe he's banged up. So he played starters, so I would assume that Jennings would have gone otherwise. But if I had to guess, Jennings is ahead of Conley and Cowing. And then Ricky Pearsall, I don't know where he falls there. Cowing they've liked because he could run block well. Conley's a vet who's going to do something in terms of just reliability. Pearsall might be wide receiver 6 on that depth chart right now. Malik Washington balled out. I mean, didn't he just have like 2 plays? He had one really big play. He had one good play. I don't know. I think balling out would be getting a ton of targets on, whatever the amount of snaps you're getting. But look, he had one big play, talked up after the game. Maybe get some sneak plays in. I think they would have loved to have Taj Washington doing some stuff. Maybe give him some of that stuff they could have given him. We got Godwin here is a decent little pick. Kamara would load us up a little bit more at RB. Do you like Kyle Pitts for the elite tight end? And that's the way we're going to go. Kyle Pitts. So team right now, Derrick Henry, Puka, Marvin Harrison, Stephon Diggs, Kyle Pitts. No week 17 correlation yet for Kyle Pitts, but we don't need it on drafters. It's just fun that I have it for all these other guys besides him. Is that the Beer Makers fan from Roto Grinders? Absolute legend. If so, I was wondering that before the stream. I'm not sure. It would be funny, though, if we have Herzig, the former FTN founder, and the guy who does the videos for Roto Grinders all in one draft. Really would lend credence to the stars coming out for Splash Play Drafters doubleheaders on the weekend. But today, no beers, by the way. I'm just out of beer in the house and didn't have time to go get any. All right. Kamara, Walker, AR, Mixon, Rashad White. So very RB heavy pocket. Could go up and get Jaden Reed, who's certainly a decent PPR play. A little bit of value on Kamara and on Walker. Who do I like more out of those two? That's a tough call. But Jaden Reed is definitely going to be a little bit of a tier break. So we're going to go Jaden Reed here. We got our Derrick Henry hero. I feel okay about that. I'm going to try to outthink it too much. Granted, a 90-yard kickoff return and a red zone carry with first team. Do you think he's a good 20th round pick? 20th round, you can get away with it. I don't think he's a good one, though. He's contingent value, which is never really a play I'd want to make. Maybe a better shot of being on the active roster is RB3 because of the kickoff return stuff. So that could help him vault one of Eli Mitchell and Mason. I can't imagine they would carry 4 active game day RBs. That'd be a little bit heavy. They could, certainly. That'd be a little bit heavy. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because they clearly like Mitchell. They clearly have trusted Mitchell over the course of time. They clearly like Mason. He was, the first guy in getting the first touch. But Grendo could possibly still be there. But I think he would have to go over one of those guys, which could be hard. Jordan Mason led the way, by the way, in snap count yesterday. Mitchell didn't go. 21 snaps to the first team for Mason, 3 for Grendo. So to fully clarify that, Grendo's safely behind there. But, maybe if they couldn't have 3 guys active or 4 guys active, then maybe that's a way for Grendo to pass one of those guys up. Labe didn't really do a whole lot. Yeah, he lost the fumble. Really was nothing else to me to note in this game besides the fact Niners were playing well. Thought Debo looked good. Kittle looked good. That's basically it. And those are all the games from yesterday. So we'll do the same exercise again tomorrow, and we'll run through all the preseason games basically by that point. And hey, feeling good about it so far. Preseason, I think, materializing mostly like how we thought it was. And guys like Bo Nix not starting for, what are the games coming up today? Let's see. Not sure the schedule offhand because we do have college football going. Are there games today? Maybe it's sitting aside for week 0? No, there are games today. Okay. We got Panthers, Bills today, Steelers, Lions, Ravens, Packers, Vikings, Eagles, Rams. Oh, we got a lot here. Rams, Texans, Chargers, Cowboys, Giants, Jets. Wait, is this all today? Oh, so all the games are today? There's none tomorrow? Oh, no. Okay, there's 3 games tomorrow. That's weird. Anyway, a lot of games today, only 3 tomorrow. All right, so we'll know pretty much everything we need to know. 3 games tomorrow for what it's worth. Titans, Saints, Cardinals, Broncos, Patriots, Commanders. Games on NFL Network today at 1, 4, 7, 10. All right, there we go. So they're really loading up. Trying to get some summer views in for NFL Network, but I get it. No beers equals on-stream Spags bongs. No. I did smoke before the show for what it's worth, but that was just mostly to curb my anxiety as I'm dealing with all stuff I got to deal with for probably. But yeah, that's basically, So, but just for what it's worth, too, just to catch you guys up on that, it's been a little bit of a plot point here on the show. For probably yesterday, I did put out an email just talking about what we dealt with here, getting rug pulled on a 125K investment for the guys. Been kind of hinting at here on the show since back in March. Took this entire time. Basically, they rug pulled us the end of last week. So I put it out in an email, the probably email that goes out to about 1,000 people. Put it out on my LinkedIn. Had a lot of people reaching out for putting out my LinkedIn. So we'll see how it goes. But we're not dead yet with probably, which is a good sign. So I don't know. That's basically the update there. But it's been also stressful because I'm was trying to sleep in a little bit because the wife and the kid are going to the zoo with my mother-in-law today. And basically they're going to leave early. So I could have slept in. Just couldn't sleep. Just tossing and turning around. We got CJ Stroud here, which feels pretty good. I don't know. The guy next to me has Tank Dell. We're not going to risk it. Stroud, 83, a little bit of a discount. Got elites at tight end, elite at QB, hero RB. It seems feeling nice, actually. It seems feeling really nice. So, see what we get in this next pick, but I'm liking this so far. I'll give the team a read after. It's really one of those things where, you're vulnerable. You put something out there. You're not prideful, and sometimes people actually do want to help you and want to try to hear you out about things. So that's sort of that's where we are right now. But yeah, we'll see. One really big company reached out, and I was surprised. But you'll see. We got Zamir White here, a little bit of a discount. Again, the usage for him a little bit worrisome, though he was held out of that last game. Correlation-wise here, nothing that sexy. Khalil Shakir has come up quite a bit on this site, huh? I'm going to go JMO. I don't agree with Shakir being ahead of JMO. I like Shakir. Shakir, by my metrics, by the EPA metrics of Sports Info Solutions, that I think are the best data point and the best tool in the business for chopping up data and looking at it intelligently. Shakir is one of the best in the league. I still don't think he's a better play than Jameson Williams on Detroit this year. I love JMO. Everybody's now about to curb their anxiety. About to curb their I mean, look, is it justification for casual weed usage? Sure, but it doesn't weed's one of those things where if you smoke on the regular and you're a normal person and you're good at thinking it doesn't really affect you that much. But it does make it so I'm not pacing around the basement like I was this morning quite so much. Be a lot going on. They'll be working through the weekend. But thankfully, wanted to go to the zoo with the kid today because my son Luca, who's now 2 and 5 months or so, we're not sure if it's actually a thing, but at some point he said zebra is his favorite animal. So he's gonna see a zebra at the zoo today for the first time, and every time we see zebras now he's we're like zebra, and he's my favorite animal. or Luca's favorite animal. And so that's the point where every time I'm in a book, or after he has one on the wall, I'm zebra, Luca's favorite animal. And I'm I'm not sure if he actually likes zebras, but it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts to it. So I'm going to have to get photo things, but I'm sad to be missing out on that one. Timing just didn't work with doing the streams today. And the fact, got to go to the Philly Zoo and hassles. Everybody curb your anxiety here. Yeah, no beers. So you got to curb your anxiety in other ways. Sad read at the gym this AM. Stay strong. Thank you to our guy, Robert Griffin III. I was going to say your real name for a second, but I appreciate it. We're getting through it. Look, we're getting through it as best we can, but we'll see. Encouraging reactions so far, if nothing else. And if this does work out, if I'm able to salvage this probably situation and be able to get the money some other way, let alone from a company that might even be a better fit for what we're trying to do. I do strongly believe that it'll be one of those things where I have to suck LinkedIn's dick off forever. We have to go oh man, because it really would be a thing. We're just putting a post out on LinkedIn, being candid or whatever. It might change the trajectory of what I'm trying to do. But obviously, we got to actually have it happen. But that's where I'm feeling right now. So we'll see. So full credit to LinkedIn. Really annoying platform sometimes. I think it comes off like Facebook a lot more these days. And then that's Facebook combined with self-aggrandizing, combined with actual useful things sometimes and stuff like App Store optimization, cold leads and stuff for people that are doing sales. So it's interesting to see, but we shall see. And that's me talking about it because anybody else to talk about it with, because I'm trying to keep it close to my vest and my normal life with friends and even the wife. Hey, Trader Mike joining on the weekend. Hey, Trader Mike, welcome to Mikey. Welcome to the family here, Mikey. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Of course, you get kisses. You also get VIP access, Discord, team reviews, rankings, news update document, all that you get here. Welcome to the family, Mike. Make sure to join the Discord, Mike, if you want to get in here. Shout out Trader Mikey. Welcome to the club. The illustrious Squirt Squad. Support the show down below. Hit the join button for $4.99. And we've ended up in a little RB pocket, so we're not suffering much here. We got Jalen Warren, who would feel okay. Caleb, no correlation, so it's not even tempting. Zach Moss. Really, all these guys here I like quite a bit. Just going to take the first one off. Jalen Warren, here on Drafters, they're not ready to deal with his hamstring injury. That's probably not going to affect him even in week 1. Here in this total points format, God forbid we don't have a player in week 1. How would we survive? We got Brian Robinson coming back. Tyjae coming back. Nothing really to set up at this point, I don't think. But Brooks has fallen precipitously on Drafters. I mean, it's hard for me not to take B-Rob. I like B-Rob in any format. Do a little Spears? I prefer B-Rob to Spears straight up. I like Spears, but I think, to me, you should take B-Rob over Spears every time. But you said good smooches, so I agree with that. Thank you for that. All right, so team so far, we got C.J. Stroud, Derrick Henry, Jalen Warren, Brian Robinson, who sometimes you see B. Robinson, you think Bijan, but no, it's in fact Brian. Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison Jr., Stephon Diggs, Jaden Reed, Jamison Williams, and Kyle Pitts. So little Washington, Atlanta, week 17 correlation, little Rams, Arizona, week 17, Houston, Baltimore. Cooking here. We're going to spike big time in the tournament where you just really need to not be dead heading into week 17. We'll take it. I really do think, though, the Jalen McMillan play, like Jalen McMillan, I'm curious to see where he goes in this room. I feel like he's going to come up to like the 150s. Still really don't think McMillan can hit unless Mike Evans or Godwin goes down. Because like the play that he caught that ball on, great catch, classic Mike Evans ball if I've ever seen one. I don't know that Jalen McMillan gets those reliably. But it was impressive. That was a hell of a catch. That was definitely, I feel like, probably the catch of the preseason. Might be some other one I'm forgetting. People's overestimation of total points is why my favorite drafters build is Hero plus Brooks. Yeah, I guess that's the Brooks part of it. They just don't want to lose that first few weeks of points. But if you have, like my build could withstand Jonathan Brooks easily. Even the Henry, Jalen Warren part, like, so what? You miss those guys for week 1. You can catch up. You don't have to have the nuts every week. It's not really how that goes. The ship chasers made a clip, so McMillan is dead now. I mean, look, he's going to die in a very creative way. But I really think if that's the case, he's going to take a lot of people down with the ship if they have truly cursed him like that. But, I think they're due for a hit. I would say with most things, law of averages is bound to set in. McMillan's at least a valid one. I think the way McMillan doesn't hit, though, is just, not having enough time on the field. This is very true, Adam. The way I talk is bizarre. That is true. Our AI quote of the day for Adam. I know this is him actually talking as himself now, but it is true. The way you talk, certainly bizarre. Brooks profiles a PPR smash too. Yeah, he was great. He's the best receiver coming out of the class besides, the one game sample of Dylan Labe, what he did at University of New Hampshire. But obviously that's a one gamer. Brooks got a lot of juice in the pass game, probably more than he has in the actual run game. In a Canales offense, we saw how Rachaad White got used last year. Obviously they got a little tired of using him in that role. Worked in Chase Edmonds, worked in Keyshawn Vaughn. The role was good. The opportunity was good for Arby's in the pass game. I think Brooks will be fine. The one part that's tough for Brooks, even though he does have the draft capital to get there, it's whenever you're not playing early. Like, again, we're seeing it really bad this year for Kendre Miller, but last year was the same thing too, where it took him, 6 weeks to get on the field because he had the MCL tear back in January in whatever bowl game he had played in. Then, coming in, he couldn't work his way up the depth chart, which was a time period where Kamara was suspended. Jamal Williams getting up to speed. Like, he could have actually made it on the field, made some plays. Then Jamal Williams got hurt. Needed him again. He wasn't there. Then we're the same thing again this year. And you'd see where the situation mounts a little bit for Dennis Allen. So that's sort of what you worry about for Brooks, like just not being there early. He doesn't earn the full trust. Then he never gets the full trust. Even though obviously for them, I guess honestly for New Orleans too, they knew coming in, Kendre had this injury. It's probably going to delay his, ability to get on the field right away. But I guess for Brooks, They know his injury. You would hope they don't get frustrated with it, especially as an ACL as opposed to a reoccurring hamstring injury. But who knows? Canales doesn't seem like the type, though, to Dennis Allen that. And like Barry Brooks, he's not available. But knowing what we know this year of Dennis Allen, where I don't recall the Dennis Allen quotes last year being quite as mercurial. Maybe I just didn't see him as much. This year, though, it's like, holy shit, this guy's been like radicalized to be an asshole to any player who's not Taysom Hill is basically all of his quotes. But I think, again, it being Canales, it being high draft capital, Brooks will hopefully get the opportunity no matter what. We could add another RB here. That wouldn't be bad. We do have this bet on Atlanta. And at this point, we're losing a lot of the QB options. And we also could do 3 QBs. But let's push that pick, I think, no matter what. I just don't believe in Trey Benson at his ADP. I've been taking a lot of Zeke lately, guys, which never feels good. But I think Zeke is more valuable than the markets do right now. Like, he's been held out of preseason games for a reason, in my estimation. I think he's got the goal line role locked down. Rico Dowdle could certainly threaten for overall work. And he was like a PPR monster last year in New England, even though, again, he wasn't that efficient. But he and Rico's efficiency numbers, ZPA numbers, were pretty similar. So I'm still team Zeke at his cost. Going here in this room, 15 spots after Dowdle, 16. I don't know. Taysom is the way on DK. Taysom is the way here on Drafters, too. I think he's a good pick in every format where you can get him at tight end. QB on underdog is going to be very specific builds. We got Kirk all the way back as expected. Could also do Dotson and be done. We have other outs at QB. Dalton Schultz, not Dotson. Jesus, sorry. Dalton Schultz and be done at tight end. Freiermuth, a little bit of a discount, but I do prefer Schultz, especially with the Stroud build. Going to go Schultz. We only have the Houston single, so we'll go Schultz here to make it a double. And to me, having Pitts and Schultz, I feel pretty well covered at tight end. I think Schultz has 2 touchdown upside in this Houston offense where, again, the part of, to me, that football people miss a lot. Like, yes, target per outs run matter quite a bit, but also sometimes just being a good player around great players is a thing that earns you a lot of upside. So for guys, to me, like Dalton Schultz, like we hope Jahan Dotson will be in Philly, just being able to be open because they're not double teaming you and you're competent enough to make a catch and turn it into something. That's the hope for guys like Schultz and Dotson. So I like those plays more than I think the markets do. Zeke slip is weird right now. It is odd. It is odd that the August markets don't have a little more faith in Zeke, but I guess they got just so comfortable with writing him off last year that they can't break it back. I think that's the hard part for primary markets, for like how people in general address a draft, is that they're in these kind of situations, and overall it's one where like they can't pivot their thought. Like whatever they think is the thing. Like, oh, this rookie's never going to hit. That's like, he's like, I don't like him. This rookie hit. He's fantastic. He's going to be the best player ever. Oh, this guy hit his ceiling. He's the greatest player ever. Oh, this guy sucks. He's never going to be good again. Like, I think that's how primary markets move. So for Zeke, they made the bet that he sucks and he's done. And I don't think they know how to walk it back. The casual markets in July and August. Leg up has been steaming up Rico. They have from day one. I think you should be dead even on both if you can. With the price tags being where they are, I mean, in general, the rule of thumb for best ball is you take the lowest priced RB who has a real role in an ambiguous backfield, and you hope that one wins out. That's what led me to Ramondre a couple of years ago. I mean, that's probably the most easy one where he's behind Damian Harris. Damian Harris got hurt. Damian Harris was okay, but like Ramondre ended up killing. Then I didn't take Ramondre the next year because the price tag wasn't right. Tony Pollard, same thing, taking lower ADP Tony Pollard for a while when Zeke was going higher than him. So I think that's generally what you're trying to do at RB is you take the one that you know is going to get some work and you hope the top guy is less efficient. But now it's flipped where like Zeke's the top guy. Like I don't think it's the right thing to do if you're team building, but he's on a cheap contract now and they trust him. But realistically, though, again, same bet for Rico Dowdle and Zeke fundamentally. Just I think Zeke gets the first crack on red zone touches, and that's what we want to get in this Cowboys offense. Especially last year, you know, they really wanted to run the ball in the red zone. Couldn't do it with Tony Pollard, so they gave up on it. Got to keep in mind, too, they gave up on red zone running last year, and they had Rico. Now, like, they have a guy who, whatever Zeke's flaws are, he is a power back who gets touchdowns in the red zone. Like, that's what I think we're looking for. You're looking for Jamal Williams in Detroit. Like, I think it's an archetype that's underappreciated, even though we all want hot, young, sexy rookie tail. Like, you want vets who just get trusted and get a shitload of red zone carries to smash their heads against the wall and pick up 2 touchdowns. Our guy Nolan here, saw your email yesterday, written free, man. Thank you. Talk about it up top here. We're put it out on the email, put it out on LinkedIn, getting some leads from it. So we'll see how it goes. Got some calls scheduled this week. Have to reply to some stuff when I get off stream. It's actually coming in now. So hopefully it'll work out. But, look, you put yourself out there, you do the best you can. Spend a lot of money trying to make a quality product. And unfortunately, it's hard to get market penetration, especially when you are doing it on a bootstrap level. What are we going to do? Would that also be applicable to B-Rob versus Eckler, lower ADP? A little bit different there because I think that situation's been clearly less ambiguous. But yeah, I mean, taking the cheaper one is still a fine play. But it's an older guy who's the cheaper one, Like here in Zeke's case, I think he's got the better role most likely, but he's going cheaper. For Eckler, I think he's got the worst role, but he's certainly going cheaper. All right, so Cousins didn't fall all the way back. That's obviously fine. Stafford did. We got a Rams-Arizona thing going anyway. Stafford feels fine to me here. QB2, Stroud and Stafford. Could add on a third one. I don't know who it would be, but it wouldn't feel bad to do that either. But I like this build. The team is pretty evenly balanced. We got a hero RB in. I don't think the receiver room suffered too much for it. Got an elite tight end as well. Feeling good. Hard to get any penetration when you chat. Hey, you know what? Sometimes it can be evasive. Talking about market penetration, though, for the record. All right, we got flexibility with what we do with this next pick. Grabbing another receiver wouldn't feel bad at this point. Some guys I like in this range. Like it in the 150s. Tough play. Draft capital's there. Just wish we had more signal about them wanting to use him reliably with the first team. He goes anyway. Josh Downs I'd be okay with. Thielen less so. I think Josh Downs adds material PPR value to the team. We're going to go Josh Downs as wide receiver 6. So the team so far here through 14 rounds, of course, 20-round draft on Drafters. And a second draft coming up along with a giveaway of 1 Drafters Million ticket at the end of the video, guys. So stay tuned there. We'll give that away at the end. $15 entry fee, of course, we'll be giving it away for free. Stay tuned. CJ Stroud, Matthew Stafford, Derrick Henry, Jalen Warren, Brian Robinson, Ezekiel Elliott. That's the RB room. Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison Jr., Stephon Diggs, Jaden Reed, Jamison Williams, and Josh Downs. Lots of J's here down the home stretch. And Kyle Pitts and Dalton Schultz. So, like the team, we got stacks. Can add a third tight end even if we wanted, who correlates later on. Certainly some late receivers we could pick off, at least for the Rams side. Third stack might be just worth doing at this point to give me a little more focus on who to pick. But we got some options, so we'll see. Been noticing a lot in my night drafts I'm doing off stream. DeMarcus Robinson falling in rooms. Think the Jordan Whittington seems got to be a bit much, which I think is actually, the market's responding correctly, where if you're pushing up Whittington, theoretically Robinson should come down. Think fundamentally it's still a Robinson role with Whittington working in. Whittington's still probably contingent value this year, but something mindful of, because I do think if there's a buying window on DeMarcus Robinson, that buying window is probably now. Great way to start my day. Another Spags weekend. Drafters full PPR. Appreciate it. Effect MD. Thank you for that one. Of course, Drafters full point PPR. Go get it. Drafters.com. Promo code SPLASH gets you a $100 deposit match. As I talked about earlier, if you put in 6 entries this weekend, giving you 1 free for every 6 you put in. So you could put up to 18 entries and get 3 free entries. So keep it in mind. You're doing the best they can to gamify getting you guys on the Drafters Million, where it's going to likely be about $400,000 in overlay in the tournament based on the current film rates and projected fill rates. So just keep that in mind. What are my thoughts on Diami Brown now? Seems like he's going to be out there in 2 wide receiver sets. I think he's a better play. I don't know if he's assured the role in a way where you should be flocking to it. McCaffrey is still there. I think McCaffrey can play out wide just as well as can play in the slot. I've actually been impressed. I've been impressed with the plays he's made in the preseason, to be honest, has McCaffrey. He's not there yet, but I think he can get there. Olamide Zaccheaus, I got sniped on Diami Brown in a room yesterday. Went Zaccheaus' way. He's going to get some work. He's had good camp reviews as well. I think there's other guys there. So don't just load up on Diami Brown, but with him being an undrafted guy, I think getting him a good amount. But if you don't get him, and you want to take Zaccheaus, you want to take, McCaffrey is going much earlier. I think those are the ways to handle that. But it's like an ambiguous backfield. It's like the same thing. You want to make sure you're capturing, the probability of all these guys hitting. I think people are going to treat Diami like he's the one who's going to benefit. I don't think that's the case. But his price tag right now, I think, has ambiguity to it. So I'm okay with Diami Brown, in most rooms. And he'd be the first one I would take a crack at, especially because I have so much McCaffrey already. McCaffrey, though, is really the upside one. Like, he could cement himself as the long-term wide receiver 2 there, potentially, or, at least 3. Maybe they upgrade the position overall, bring in somebody above Terry McLaurin. But, like, he could cement his role with the team, I think. And he has worked a lot with Jaden. It hasn't, I guess, shown enough on the practice field. But it was one thing that stood out to me early on. Jaden's first guy in the building. Luke McCaffrey goes with him every morning, or at least was in the early parts of training camp. I'm sure he hasn't stopped. I think that's the kind of thing that sometimes can carry a guy a little bit more. Parkinson goes really early here at 176. So that kind of threw a loop for what I was going to plan to do. Marshawn Lloyd is RB5. Really no issue with that one. Yoshivas, reports are he's officially the wide receiver 3. They're still going to yield some snaps to the Charlie Jones, Trenton Irwin, maybe eventually Burton tier. I think Lloyd at this point is RB5, feels fine. Lloyd at pick 179. Sure. And honestly, people are going to love Diami Brown. So, like, I think he absolutely can hit. I think it's wide open who can hit there because Jaden Daniels is that good of a passer. So, like, I'm okay making the bet on anybody who's on the roster. Probably wouldn't make it on, like, Jamison Crowder, but he's also on the team still, and I think has had okay enough camp reports, but he's a vet in camp, so it's not too surprising. Yoshivas goes here. So 180 price tag for him. Think he's going to come up a little bit with the quotes about him being locked into the wide receiver 3 role. But there is nuance to that because he can and probably will lose snaps to some other guys. Use a little bit more at receiver here. Ricky Pearsall, basically free. I honestly think this is a spot where I think you can plug in Diami Brown. I would like to get more shares of him as well. Really tried to get him across every platform a little bit more. Again, if I don't get him, I'm taking Zacchaeus, but I've got a really big McCaffrey bet, so I just want to make sure I capture Washington somehow. And again, we have a little Washington bet anyway here with Brian Robinson. So Brian Robinson, Diami Brown, I think feels pretty good. Diami in round 16, I think is the price tag you should be aiming for him. And it wouldn't shock me if he got to 15. He's just a better pick than Burton, Pearsall at this point. Mims, Johnston. Boyd might be a little bit low. He's pretty projectable. Let's give the team a read, though. We got Stroud and Stafford, Derrick Henry, Jalen Warren, Brian Robinson Jr., Ezekiel Elliott, Marshawn Lloyd. Again, I'm not giving up on Marshawn Lloyd. People may want to after the injury, but this is it sucks I'm dollar costing him down, but this is like the buying period for him, I think, if you haven't bought in on him before. Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison Jr., Stephon Diggs, Jaden Reed, Jamison Williams, Josh Downs, Diami Brown, Kyle Pitts, Dalton Schultz. Honestly, I feel like this team is good to go as it is, but we still have another 4 rounds, so we'll make it better as best we can. But I like this team already, really do. No major injuries this preseason. Week 1 is going to suck. That's true. We still got a weekend left, but not a lot of starters going for most teams. So hopefully going to be mostly clean for key players. That's basically it. What a weird topic we're talking about. Really nothing too weird today yet. Probably because I don't have beer going, but nothing too weird's come up. Chat behaving themselves. I feel like Saturday chat's a little bit more relaxed as well. You guys are doing other chores, I think, while listening to the show. And I appreciate it. And hey, if you're enjoying the stream, I've not pandered for likes yet. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe down below. Your engagements go a long way for me. I'm just a sole proprietor trying to build this channel up and make it something worthwhile here. And ultimately, I'm just showing you my gambling here on stream every day, talking about the process, talking about the news I'm hearing, things I'm reading, things I'm taking at face value, even putting them in a document for you guys to read if you're a member. So hit the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the join button for $4.99 if you want to support the show, $4.99. It all goes a long way here. And of course, drafting on drafters as well with promo code SPLASH. Great way to support the show as well. I get an affiliate fee for that one. You get $100 in deposit match for yourself. And again, a lot of free entries going this weekend. If you put in 6, you get a free entry. You can do that 3 times. If you put in 18 entries this weekend, you'll be getting 3 entries back for free. Pretty good deal. In addition to, if it's your first 18, you get 1 to 10 as well. So you'll be getting 4 free entries for putting in 18, which is complicated math. They could stand to make that promo easier to sell. Hey, put in 18 entries, get 4 free. That's tough math, but it is good math. All right, so AI Adam, I'll share video to random phone number. Are we repeating them now? It's sad that he's repeating them. But he chimes in with them just infrequently enough that I'm always intrigued by what AI Adam has to say here in the chat. You'll have more luck during the giveaway if you like, subscribe, and join. Hypothetically, it works this way. That's true. So it's an unbiased random number generator, but I'm biased. I'll still let you enter, but I won't be rooting for you if you don't support the channel. But shout out to all you guys hanging out on a Saturday. Hope it's a good weekend for you all. Hope you all can see your favorite animal, whether it be the zebra or not. No Cat Mac has finished cutting the grass, so I try to tune in the drafter stream, though, since only one of... Oh, really? What state is it one of the only legal ones? It'd be odd that drafters be the only one you have, I feel like, based on what I know of the state-by-state laws. All right, so, look, I don't think the team needs a 6-star B, but I really have no issue going to Tank Bigsby here. I think he's undervalued, and it is a 20-round draft, so luxury Tank Bigsby, come on down. My luxury Tank Bigsby. I ride him around with my feet up, and I go, now this is luxury, as he carries me around. Like I'm the Emperor and Gladiator. DK and drafters. Oh, I'm surprised Underdog's not in Louisiana. Huh. And I'm not a fan of DK anymore. Yeah, DK. I mean, look, soft tournaments on there, but in terms of scumbaggery of companies, I would say fairly high up. Fairly high up in terms of ripping their customers off. Got to support the stockholders, though. You know, that's what we all love. All right, we've got our 6 RBs. Don't think we need another one. Think adding receiver on more. Whittington went so early, but I guess that's just the price now for Whittington. 183 Whittington. All right, what is at receiver? Like, is there anything at all? Naylor's still a pick. Slayton's still a valid pick. We're not stacking anything at this point. Do I just make a third stack for funsies? I'm always tempted by Derek Carr in total points. Fuck it. All right, we're going to do a weirdo New Orleans stack late just for fun. It's because I have 3 rounds left, and I really don't think the team needs anything. I guess it may be too much BBM drafting lately, but you have CJ Stroud, Matthew Stafford, and now Derek Carr. Well, we got Derrick Henry, Jalen Warren, Brian Robinson Jr., Ezekiel Elliott, Marshawn Lloyd, Tank Bigsby. Good with that being 6 RBs. Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison, Stephon Diggs, Jaden Reed, Jameson Williams, Josh Downs, Diami Brown. Can add another like PPR-y guy on top, but I may still try to do that. Kyle Pitts, Dalton Schultz. Happy with the team. League Washington. I don't know about that. Can do Juwan. We'll see if Juwan comes back. I mean, Juwan is now not free. He already went. He ran in the 16th. But I'm thinking it might be a Cedric Wilson, A.T. Perry team. Maybe Cedric Wilson, Bub Means, because Bub Means is the handy, the direct backup to, I was going to say the handcuff, which is not how you say that. Bub Means is probably the handcuff to whoever's playing the slot, which will normally be Cedric Wilson. But Cedric Wilson is the handcuff for Rashid Shaheed based on the preseason usage they had. Because Shaheed was out. Basically, Olave played his normal spot. Cedric Wilson played the normal Rashid Shaheed routes. And Bub Means took the routes out of the slot that would have been Cedric Wilson's, I think was how that went. I am contractually committed to be doing Drafters Millions tournaments. So, no thank you. But I appreciate the sentiment. They do have Superflex on Drafters going. Our guy Mo's anxiety has been curbed. Glad to hear it. Of course, a euphemism for enjoying the greenery here on a weekend. And you're allowed to enjoy the greenery. People are cutting grass out there. So people are using that grass for different purposes. It's what we want to see. I do miss having a beer on stream, though. I have to tell you guys. It's a tough scene. I'm not like one of those, I'll do sober for 30 days. The wife just currently doing that because she had a really tough run with work for the Olympic stuff because she works for an agency that did social for the Olympics. It was on basically every day for like way more hours than she should have been helping do that content for like the NBC accounts, if you're curious. And basically like didn't drink the entire time because it just like makes her sleep less well and then whatever. So she's going to like 30 days sober. We went 1 week sober, and I'm like, I can't imagine. 30 days would be awful. Like, I don't want to drink every day, but I like in the summer especially. It's not that hot, but like especially on like a hot day, I just want that beer. Missed the Chauncey monkey hat. Yeah, like me too. Me too. You can't even DoorDash beer here anymore either. So, wife's got the car. I'm fucked. Only drugs and gambling here. How unfortunate. Got some picks coming up here. Couple more picks left. Probably some rando New Orleans guys. Maybe a rando Vegas guy for the week 17 correlation, even though we don't need it. 12 years clean and sober. Hey, look, sober living is more and more popular than ever. And we were talking too about it. And it's like, you do feel better. Like, it's hard to say that, like you do feel better, like is what I would say. I'm going Cedric here. I know a lot of you guys out there don't like Cedric. People have pushed back on it. He's getting the time and he's had spike weeks before. So I'm going Cedric. Do I think May starts this year? I think he starts this year. I'm still not sold he starts week 1, but it is getting to be a bigger drumbeat of him starting week 1. Another draft coming up here, by the way, guys. So stay tuned. If you want to draft with me, I'll give you the opportunity. I'll show you when I do it. What do I think about the marathon draft and underdog? Doesn't look like it's going to fill either. I mean, it's the same thing as drafters, but it's, half point PPR instead of full. I mean, it's probably not going to fill. I would think you have a better shot at EV chasing going on there because people now have most of their bankrolls on underdog, but I'm not sure. I don't know what the fill rate is on it, but it's lower than this, right? I think they're both not going to fill by a good margin. Drafters, they project not to fill by 25%, maybe 20 on the outside. And for DK, it might be like 60%. But the prize structure, I think, is a little bit better on drafters, if I recall. All right, so we got this build going. We got Carr. I was thinking Trey Tucker. I just kind of wanted a reason to take Trey Tucker. So Trey Tucker, great preseason. We're going to review the team real fast here. And we'll draft another one. We got CJ Stroud, Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr, Derrick Henry, Jalen Warren, double Derricks. We got Brian Robinson Jr., Ezekiel Elliott, Marshawn Lloyd, Tank Bigsby. Maybe could have gotten one RB earlier than Tank, but I still think the build works given the Henry hero RB portion of things. We have Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison Jr., Stephon Diggs, Jaden Reed, Jamison Williams, Josh Downs, Diami Brown, Cedric Wilson, and Trey Tucker. The tight end, Kyle Pitts and Dalton Schultz. Third tight end would have been an option, but Juwan Johnson isn't free anymore. So that's basically how that goes. All right, another draft coming up here. Let's do it. Let's have some nimble fingers. Let's get it done. Drafters Million, again, about 50% filled right now, and you can fill it along with me here. Let's fill it one hole at a time. One draft hole, that is. 7 spots available. Of course, I don't work until the draft is filled, so I'm going to sit back here. But in the meantime, guys, I do drafts here every day, Monday to Saturday. Actually, Monday to Sunday now. Every day, literally, at 11 a.m., thanks to our pals at Drafters. So subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. All that goes a long way for me. A sole proprietor here, just giving away my EV, showing my work in gambling here. Of course, every day, trying to build winning teams, trying to win big money doing this by being prepared from the moment we could prepare for the season. That's what we do here. Of course, Drafters. Check it out. Drafters.com, $100 deposit match. And we got 1 spot left. And I'm going to throw this football, throw some mediocre spirals because the ceiling's not high enough. Woo! Oh, we're catching them. Oh, one-hander. Ooh, a little bit of bobble, but we caught it. Oh, okay. We're good. We're filled. The filling distracted me. I am ready. Let's draft. Everybody, if you're in the room, click it. You got our guy Greg here, Mr. Hoopy Butthole here. Don't know these other ones. I don't know who you guys are in this room, but if you're in the room, feel free to identify yourself. Let me know. All right, Quasi here. Quasi joined. He's in the 12 hole. He's got 100 entries in. He's chasing it. Hey, every hole's a good hole. I got Greg in the 5 spot. There we go. You talk sports. And we are in the 9 hole here, so we'll see what we can get going. Last room was pretty clean. Didn't really have to sweat sniping or anything. Didn't have to get annoyed by somebody not stacking like we did last week or whenever that was. 2 weeks ago. It's all blurring together, guys. Last PBN winner was out of the 12 hole. Could be you. There we go. It can always be you. It's like the old Mega Millions commercials in the lottery. It could be. I don't know if that was that only a New York thing. I think that was national. It could be you, and the guy would fucking say it into a microphone. God, this is a very old commercial now. But it was a lot of them. They used to put them out all the fucking time, and they'd be on TV incessantly, and in like subways and shit. Curious, a Herzig's build in the previous one. Let's see. We can look at it. Oh my God, suck Justin Herzig off more, guys. Jesus. Let's see. We got a little time before the picks. This was draft number. I got to update the banner too. This is draft number 25. I just earned myself a free ticket. Deploy that one tomorrow. View my league. Now, how do I do this? How do I view other teams? Oh, view draft. That's it. I'm doing it in another window. Hold on. We're looking up Justin Herzig's team for the sake of Mr. Popinski, who's just such a big Justin Herzig fan. All right. His team was, this is not split. I guess we could do it this way. All right. His team was Trevor Lawrence. I'll go over here. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert as QBs, James Cook, Rashad White, Zamir White. He loves these whites. Zach Charbonnet, Dylan Labe, CEH. So his RB room is worse than mine. Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Devontae Smith, Pittman, Lad McConkey, Judy, Thielen, Demario Douglas, Tyler Boyd. So we took more legit guys here. Kind of PPR-ish guys. Njoku, K. Dotton, Chickenconquo. I don't think that was a great team, if I'm being honest. Not to bash the guy. Somebody once, like I forget what it said, like I disagreed with something about Justin Herzig and they like clipped it on their phone, like a screenshot or, a video recording of my YouTube video and then tagged Justin Herzig in and go, this guy Spags thinks you're an idiot for your Khalil Herbert take. Like, I just said I don't agree with it. I think DeAndre Swift got a lot of money for a reason. I think he's going to be the lead guy there. So can't bash Justin Herzig or the fans come out. But I'd say my team kicked this team's ass. Was Jerry Jeudy going to beat my team out? No chance. We got A.J. Brown here. We got Garrett Wilson here. I've been getting A.J. Brown more on every platform, and I'm happy with it. Outside receiver / guy who could move around, but probably going to play mostly outside. Roland Kellen Moore offense. Last year, by my metrics, Mike Williams would have been one of the top 10 receivers in the league based on his usage and efficiency. The Spags score, if you guys remember that from last year, which is kind of an amalgamated score of EPA, target earning, stuff like that rolled into one. And he would be, Mike Williams is really good in that offense. I don't think it was all Mike Williams. I think it was more being used that way. And A.J. Brown, I think, is infinitely more talented than Mike Williams. So this Kellen Moore offense for Philadelphia, to me, would love to get more full bets on it, but I'm a big fan of it. That was the Sun God CD win. Well, this year it's Puka and MHJ would be the one if you can get it, but you're not going to get it today. But Drake London can hit in a similar way. I don't know about reaching for Malik Neighbors, quasi, but hey, you're 100 drafts in. You know what you're doing. It's a big reach for Malik Neighbors. I get you wanting the unique combos, but that's jarring to see. We'll get one semi-value back. All right, we got Jonathan Taylor here. I'm not the biggest Jonathan Taylor drafter in the world, but I do think he should dominate that backfield as much as AR will be giving up production. I worry a little bit about the Colts. Just feel like their year haven't been encouraged by their preseason. Some of that's probably losing Josh Downs, but just haven't been crazily encouraged by him. Still love AR. Still believe in the talent. In particular, what he represents for fantasy, if not for, being a Super Bowl winner at some point. And I think he can be a better passer in year 2, even though we have not seen it yet. And obviously the game this last week being at points the nut low for him. But I do think that for AR, I don't know. I'm okay with AR. I just think the team not taking a leap wouldn't shock me. But Steichen's a great coach. So maybe I'm going against my priors a little bit because I love Steichen very much. Just wish I heard more like, the Colts are buzzing in camp. They're crushing it. Was encouraged by the offense and how they moved around. Felt like they were moving around like this is like really fucking stupid. When I see good offenses moving, and it comes back to like the first NFL game I ever went to in person was a Tom Brady Patriots game versus the Jets. I remember seeing that offense, and it was the Moss Welker Jets. And I never went to an NFL game when I was a kid. My family's poor. What do you want from me? But I'd watched a lot on TV. So seeing it live, it's like when you see really well-run teams, it's like watching just like bugs like that are in harmony working together. Like how like the beehives and stuff, how they work together. Just efficient motion, flying around, things are moving. I feel like at times, like the Colts offense in that preseason game looked like They had efficient movement. They were getting around like bugs, like the Patriots looked like in that game. But it's just, it's not always there. AR, the upside, the rushing is just the dominant big part of that. If the pass game comes along, great. So he's never, to me, going to be a bad fantasy play. But him being compared to Joe Flacco and national people making the case he should bench AR for Flacco, which will never happen. But it's not a great scene. He had a great opening drive. Then he had that pick. Yeah, I mean, he moved the ball down well. I thought really the Pierce connection to me looked infinitely better than it did last year at any point. And Mitchell catching the touchdown too, I thought wasn't a bad play either. Thought they used those guys interestingly. Like it wasn't just deep shot plays. They got him underneath. It's a decent win. Thought the offensive line looked bad against the backups. It did look a little bit like how the college football video game looks for me, where I actually watched the video yesterday. I watched a Brett Coleman video about how you're supposed to handle protection because I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? Because I'm playing a road to glory as the Michigan QB, and I can't fucking get protected for shit. We're getting avalanched here pretty bad. Got the bet on Indianapolis. Let's go get Michael Pittman. Doesn't feel good here. This fucking room. Why do I open the rooms up? Why do I do this to myself? But we did it. Little discount on Pacheco. Pacheco has been quietly one of the biggest CLV steamers of the summer. Him go to 34 now looks like a huge discount when that used to reliably be where he was going. Yeah, I think the Colts will be okay. Now that I'm making this bet on the Colts, I think the Colts will be fine. Not going to worry about them. They'll figure it out. But just want to see him make the leap. I don't know if it's going to happen this year. AR in particular, I just want to see him be great. I want him to be like the full potential of what I think he can be. He seems like a great dude. Like I really root for AR. I know like this year I'm, Jaden Daniels the guy, hot shiny new toy. I'm not immune to that as well. And also, he's so much cheaper. McLaurin, you're taking McLaurin? God damn it. We got Tank Dell here. We'll go Tank. I think Mike's our guy who signed up earlier in the chat. So I guess if anybody's going to take McLaurin from me, you take him. And Tank at 40 doesn't feel bad. So you got Jonathan Taylor, A.J. Brown, Michael Pittman, Tank Dell. Seems like a pretty good play. I'm not mad at it. Still holding the football here. Tempted to throw it in the air. We didn't take Jalen Hurts here because this obviously would be a little bit more logical of a AR kind of team. Hopefully we'll get him back. Harris throwing motion doesn't look natural. I mean, he could throw it 80 yards, so I think he'll be okay. You don't need to be a natural thrower. We're not the coaches. It's for fantasy. You're gonna be fine. Please don't worry about AR's throwing motion too much as a reason to not be rooting for him in fantasy football. You can throw it underhanded, and he'd probably be fine fantasy-wise. Zay Flowers, to me, one of the more inexplicable falls of a lot of drafters' rooms lately, and honestly, PPM rooms too. I guess like casual drafters just don't like him that much. When I thought he showed me everything you want to see out of a year one guy last year, got thrust into a much bigger role than you might have expected for him. Was not high on Zay Flowers, could have got to Boston College. Thought he's one of those guys that didn't really beat up enough on lesser competition overall. And he came into the pros and I think silenced all my critiques of him. Unfortunately for Bink Wampum here, he's not going to be able to get Lamar back with Zay, which would be a pretty rare little duo. Sure, less rare as Zay has fallen, but Zay at 47 with Lamar that easily, that's unique. So McLaurin worth a third round pick, or is he too high? He's worth it to me. I would put him in that Amari Cooper tier. I mean, Cooper's got driven up a little bit here. I don't think McLaurin, based on what we know, should be ahead of like Devontae Smith. I think you make a case that he could be ahead of Cooper, but with Cooper showed last year and the big spike weeks that carried people through the playoffs, I think McLaurin should probably be still behind Cooper. But like functionally, and again, I love Tank, I love McLaurin, I love them both. So I like them both equally, or in different ways rather. Tank's like the wide receiver 3 for a team. McLaurin is a wide receiver 1 in a situation that, as I've said countless times, eerily reminiscent to Nico Collins' year last year, where he was just the boundary receiver with a QB who was great passing the ball efficiently at every level. Same thing Jayden Daniels is. Different play caller, different offense for sure. But, you know, maybe a little bit less weapons for Washington this year. But like McLaurin, to me, like in terms of the upside, yeah, I think you can make the case for him to go in the third. Okay, Larry joining late to the show. So looks solid through 4 rounds. Thank you for that. Don't forget to hit thumbs up. Please do. Please do. Let's see what we do with these picks here. Mark Andrews falling in this room quite a bit. I think we got to scoop Andrews here. Got the Indy bet. I'm going to assume that these guys aren't going to take AR ahead of ADP. But Andrews is a discount here, elite tight end. Feels pretty good. So let's see what we get back. Top Dog Entertainment in the 11 hole. Kendrick Lamar's label. Drafting a team for sure. Think if anybody's going to take AR for me, it's the 11 hole, if I had to guess. I'm sweating this one out, guys. I know it's risky to not take AR, but Andrews at 57 when I have, when I have week 17 correlation. No, when I have a room for an elite tight end, and I do have week 17 correlation. Couldn't resist it. Let's see if we get AR as usual ADP. Roughly. I think we know the answer to this, Mike. I think the chat would tell you no. So you are a paying member now, so if anybody's going to do it, I guess you could do it. I've got chats. It's just like this has got to be Mr. Poopy Butthole in chat. Of course it is. That AR looks delicious. No, pushing AR looks delicious. Let's keep in mind, guys, we're not in the same pod. It doesn't matter. I can have a really sick team. Doesn't matter to you. Won't affect you really. You're a true gambler, Spags. This is what we're supposed to do. This is the name of the game. Mike's going to make me sweat it out. Forgot to update the banner, too. It's number 25 for me. Stream draft number 188. Wait, 188? Yeah, 188. There we go. Oh, he's time. Don't you time out, Mike. Oh, the fucking bit. You can't do bits on me. How dare you? Thank you, Mike, though. AR here. So look, we're a little thin at receiver here, especially in an avalanche room. But this is a fun build. So honestly, I think what these guys just enabled me to do is like to kill myself with my own gun. But we got AR Taylor, concentrated Indianapolis build with Michael Pittman as well. Got AJ Brown on top of that. Tank Dell, Mark Andrews at a discount on top of that. I'm feeling good about the seam. Again, got to make it up at receiver for sure. But we're balanced. We're feeling okay. Then sweat it. Don't talk dirty to me here on stream. Oh, damn, I disconnected. This is game theory off ball. I hope so. Again, I've seen AR go into 70s in rooms that are not this room. So, like, I do think AR has a floor. It's a little bit lower than that ADP. Spags finally got a player push. Bummer we don't get to see him tilt. It's the weekend. Let me have things. I got sniped enough. I get sniped enough during the work week. I'm entitled to have nice things on occasion. I deserve joy. I don't need to be the clown getting fucking balls thrown at me so I fall in the water. I'll do it sometimes. Sure, you can see the clown fall occasionally, but it wouldn't be fun if the clown were constantly underwater. The clown, then you become it. If the clown's underwater too much, then you get radicalized. Nobody wants that for me. Fun build, though. Somebody's going to get a nice little George Kittle discount, it looks like. Whenever I have the football now, because I've been playing a lot more catch with Luka, he's actually starting to catch the ball, which is crazy. No hands, but he's catching it. A lot of body. A lot of which, we want to see him make. He did make one, like, kind of one-handed grab. I was like, how the fuck did you do that? His hands are not big enough. He's a little guy. But I've been, like, more into catch lately because I'm getting a little taste to catch. But he doesn't want to play catch all the time, and that's the bummer. Because I could play catch with him for, like, an hour, probably. Not get too sick of it. Bro is here with us instead of seeing the favorite zebras. Give the guy a good day. Thank you for that. That's true. I am sacrificing zebras for this. I could be up to my elbows in zebras. Luca's favorite animal. Here we are, drafting quality teams. Gonna win drafters without maxing it out. That's my goal. The ultimate flex. When I won 60K in NBA DFS, which was my biggest win ever, won that on a playoff slate with Jason Tatum going off at 3% ownership a couple of years ago, which you never forget, I guess. Won that one on 5 entries. So my dream would be to keep winning things occasionally on few entries. Dare to dream. We got Zamir White. I think we need to get a receiver in here. Cortland Sutton fits the criteria of being a receiver, and we're going to grab him here. Huge discount on Kyler for potentially top dog here. Sure, Luca's dad isn't Darius Hayward Bay. That's cruel. That's cruel. Given that he's whiter than me and blonder than me, I think that'd be a difficult one to pull off. But no, he's again, he makes catches. He does make catches. It's a lot of body. It's not alligator arming him though. I fucking bonked him in the head. We play like where he goes upstairs and I'm like downstairs, and he calls it like catching touchdowns. So catch it, he'll run around and score a touchdown. Oh, I threw one throw, like I was hitting him like steadily here and here. Alex comes to watch because he wants to show her how he's catching touchdowns. Fucking was right in the forehead. He didn't cry though. Took it like a man. He took his bid like a man. Okay, Quasi goes Jaden at 85. What if that's the final Jaden price tag here? No more preseason games from the show off. You will not be playing in the last Commanders game. So whatever his price tag is, it's going to be, it looks like. All right. What do we got here? Definitely feel like we need another receiver, but receiver is getting a little bit narrow. Can take the second RB. Obviously, a lot of RBs here that would feel pretty good. So I really feel like at this point, Raheem Mostert should have flipped Zamir White. Like to me, he seems like the best back in this range right now. Do think taking DeAndre Hopkins here, given how badly we got steamed, would be logical because we're not going to really be in a receiver pocket for a while. So I'm going to go Hopkins here. Again, Hopkins likely to be back week 1. Wide receiver 5 in this build. Full point PPR as well. Doesn't hurt. So we got to do that. We got Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor, A.J. Brown, Michael Pittman, Tank Dell, Cortland Sutton, and DeAndre Hopkins. At tight end, the most discounted Mark Andrews I've seen in a room this year. Happy with the team. Don't mean to be a bye week bro, but yikes. Hey, week 14's got a lot of great players. It's total points, though. Got to remember that on drafters as well. Team won a couple of years ago with Jalen Hurts literally being out for 2 weeks at the end of the year. So I think you can be okay with the bye weeks. But we'll be fine. We'll add enough depth. Week 14 is a sexy week. What are we going to do? If it keeps people from taking the team like this, then even better. You only got to fill so many positions. And honestly, my team last year that finished top 110, by the end of the year, it was like honestly hard for me to fill wide receiver because I'd had so many guys that were injured, or like Terrace Marshall being a fucking zero, basically. So, you know, like, again, just having players at all who were valid, I think is enough. You know, I love this team go Colts. Our guy Matthew, rooting for the boys, and I support that as well. I didn't put the jersey on. I forgot. My bad. I've been forgetting on drafter streams. That's on me. But the bit is alive here. We have AR. Few rounds too late, but still counts. All right, jersey on. How could I forget? Nobody reminded me. Historical Anomalies used to be the one that would always remind me, but now I don't think he's got enough bandwidth in his life to always be here, reminding me to put on clothes. We're just joining the stream as well. Feel free to go back to the beginning of the video. I go through Nathan Yankee at PFF's numbers, the preseason snap shares, and all that. Talk about my perception of what stuff is. So that's usually a pretty helpful segment. I'll do it again tomorrow as well. We can do another draft here around 11 a.m. start time. But go check it out, of course. And then go check out the PFF article from Nathan Yankee, too. He does a good job being pretty much the only guy in the space, pulling his own data for the stuff and doing it authoritatively and deciphering it for the most part, usually in a way that I would agree with. So full credit to our guy, Nathan Yankee, who I've never met personally. And it's spelled in the Swedish way, not with like a Y. I think some people got confused by that last time. We are on the clock here. All right, people want Tyjae Spears. I think this could be a Tyjae build. Got a little bet on DeAndre Hopkins. We'll get a little more bet on Tennessee. Again, team level bets on drafters, I think work a little bit better. Still okay with them an underdog from time to time, as long as the ADPs work. But do feel like your EV on team, like full team stack bets, is not quite as good. On underdog, just having the concern on drafters here, I think you can have QB plus RB plus 2 receivers. I think you could be okay with that. And still think that's going to give you like real upside as opposed to maybe capping your upside a little bit in terms of like a 1 game sample size. Though, it's still fine on underdog too. But I think on drafters, it carries a little bit further, especially if it's like a team on the upswing where the ADPs are lower than where you imagine they're going to end up by a substantial margin. So Tennessee would fit that criteria potentially. Certainly Washington would as well, but did we talk enough Washington here? No pods means me and Spags take first and second in one stream with our beautiful teams. Ooh-wee, I hope so. I hope one of you guys finishes second to me. My dream to win drafters and then to also win BBM. Because that would be a first, to win on multiple platforms that big in the same year. And like to win the major tournament. I don't think it's plausible. I mean, I don't think it's likely, rather. I think it's plausible. I don't think it's likely. A little bit of a value at receiver going. Jerome Ford, though, does help us a little bit more at RB. Rico Dowdle, I've been getting low on. I'm still team Jerome Ford, though. Jerome Ford in every format. Drafters, he's been going a little bit higher this whole time. I think he's in a good situation, even when Chubb gets back. I think he still has the potential to spike there. Taking some passing downs. And, of course, Chubb, being his age, things can always take a turn south, even if you don't want to see it. Not like he'll die. Not like they'll put him down like a horse and turn him into glue. But, similar. We got to get a second QB as well. Couple late options here, so I'm not too worried about that right now. Might honestly be adding 2 more QBs on because of the 20 rounds. 20 rounds give you a lot of luxuries you just don't have in those 18-round BBM drafts. And even though we're talking drafters too, I mentioned on stream yesterday, we'll give the quick plug to the Badge Bros Brawl before I think that one. Where's the fill rate on that? Just out of curiosity. That one's was a fun tournament as well. I only put 1 entry in just because I'm trying to make sure my bankroll goes all to BBM. But the Badge Bros tournament I thought was one of the more fun creations I've seen in a while. It looks like it's about 84% filled. Like your EV is going to be a lot better than the Drafters Million, and that's who's sponsoring the show. Check that out. But if you have time to check out the Badge Bros Brawl, good advanced structure there, 140-person final, 50K to first place, and you're just drafting against 5 players in a 20-second clock. So it's like really fast drafts where your team is just loaded with studs. Build 0 RB. It seems like all the data people seem to agree with as the way to go. But check that out at Underdog too. I think those guys do a good job, and I think that was one of the more creative and fun tournaments I've seen from Underdog. I'm also not like a big eliminator guy. Weekly winners especially never did it for me. Badge Bros one, though, I think is pretty cool. I think the strategy, as I mentioned, I think would be 0 RB stuff. QB, I think you're really just trying to get receiver. Seems to be what some of the early data stuff. I haven't seen anybody simulating anything or anything like that. For some of the people I think are very sharp about data, the general consensus and how I would view it too. I think people can be really tempted to build evenly balanced teams, but just taking the firepower where you get Jefferson and Chase and Neighbors and all that, like you really load up there in a way where you're probably capturing a good portion of the 30 to 40 point spike weeks at receiver. And then at RB, you could still get yourself 20 point spike weeks later on. QB, same thing. Tight end, same thing. Most of the way I would try to build. See, Quasi saying the opposite. I think everybody seems to be pushing like T-Box did the same thing. There's a couple other data guys who Underdog who I think are very sharp, all saying that like 0 RB is probably the move. That said, the only draft I did was with Ryan Hodge, who I think is a pretty sharp data guy who does some stuff with ETR. And he definitely went like really balanced, prioritized onesies, but I don't agree with that. I don't think he prioritized onesie at all. We got Zeke and Benson here again. Tough RB pocket for that. I do like Brandon Cooks as a 6th receiver here, and I am going to do that. Brandon Cooks, come on down. This guy has been underappreciated this whole time as a wide receiver 2 for Dallas, and if somehow CeeDee Lamb's holdout were to continue to the season, we're getting a few weeks of wide receiver 1 for Dallas. I'm okay with it. Headed to Badge Bros next. Get one in. There you go. Look, Drafters Million. Get your 6 entries in. Ideally, you're 18 if you want to get all the free entries, and then hit the Badge Bros Brawl. Get one in before it closes, I would say, if you want to do that. Might do a second one based on how fast that filled. Is Lava Cock a good best ball team name? Lava Cock? Like Lava Cock? No? That's not even like, it's got to be football related. I would think. It would have to be like, I don't know. Who's got a good dick name in the NFL? Really racking my brain here. Cock Bowers. Like, that's a better cock-based best ball team name. Lava Cock is like the X-rated version of that Moana one. The Lava Me, Lava You song. Or is that Moana, or was that a short? I forget what it was. It's the same thing. Volcano singing songs, whatever. Well, yes, Dick Butt Kiss would be the famous, though. It was not spelled that way for the record. It was Butkus. But yes, he would be one of the famous ones as well. Yeah, 4th down and cock, really? Unbelievable. I think Ty Chandler is a significantly better play than Trey Benson, and that is who I'm going to take here. Come on down, Ty Chandler, RB4. Making it up a little bit with the Hero RB Jonathan Taylor build, but I think we're doing okay. And oh no, we have different buys at RB. I think we're going to be fine. We got AR, we got Jonathan Taylor, Tyjae Spears, Jerome Ford, and Ty Chandler. We got AJ Brown, Michael Pittman, Tank Dell, Cortland Sutton, DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Cooks, and tight end, the biggest discount I've seen on Mark Andrews. So happy with the team again. Feel like the team's coming along nicely. Still got to stick the QB2, but we got guys who go much later who are going to be QB2, maybe even QB3 in this build. This team's coming along well. I'm not mad at that. Lad McCockey would be a good one. Lad McCockey. Lad McCockley. I think, they're throwing an extra L. Yeah, Cock Purdy, Cock Bowers. I think that's where we'd be going with that. Really no Richards left in the NFL, right? So I could think of offhand, maybe somewhere on offensive line or D-line. Anyway, there we go. Wish there was a football game going right now. A little bit too early on the stream today. The best moment of the summer to me was being on stream when Jaden Daniels threw a 40-yard bomb to Diami Brown. That's one of the highlights of my summer. Nice moments with family. Very few career highlights. But Jaden Daniels throwing a 40-yard bomb while I was on stream, getting to react to that. One of the joys of the year. Jaden or Stroud to Dynasty. Figured I should ask the Jaden guy. Price-wise right now, it would be Stroud, I think. But I would probably go Jaden if it were a startup. Yeah, one more. I guess, well, age-wise, I think Stroud is still younger than Jaden. So I guess age-wise, you are getting the older guy in Jaden no matter what. And I'm not a Dynasty player. I think no matter what, again, in Dynasty, you're supposed to take the younger guy. So Stroud, if I had to guess, probably has more longevity in his career, but I think the apex for Jaden Daniels will be a little bit higher. Fantasy apex, maybe not the real-life apex, because I think Stroud could win the MVP. I don't know that Jaden gets there. Team's got to be good enough for him to do that. Like when he pulled the ball and ran the TD also. I mean, look, Jaden does a lot of beautiful things. He's gonna do some fun stuff this year. I'm confident in that. Jerome Ford is just not a thing that's going to allow us to get Nick Chubb, I think. This is a pretty good discount on Chubb. Is there a world where Ford and Chubb can coexist? I think they can. Because like Chubb just takes some power downs late. We're getting like a 15-pick discount on Chubb here. I'm going to do it. It's like we could survive without Chubb with just this base now. If Chubb adds something on top of that, great. A little bit of an anti-bet for Ford, though. But like once Chubb is back, they're going to have complementary roles. So it's possible they could both hit, even if it's a little bit more unlikely. Hopefully, Jaden's the second coming of RG3 and Dan Steiner can't fuck it up this time. I mean, I think it was more the turf and bad leg injury luck that screwed that up. Look, we hope so. Hope Jaden stays healthy. Obviously, you never know. It's a new field at the very least there, so that should be better for his health and longevity. Yeah, look, if I'm getting Nick Chubb at 153 and Braylon Allen's going to 155, I feel pretty good about Nick Chubb in that spot. This, to me, as I've talked about here, the 140s is where we get into tier break range for Chubb, where I think he's worth whatever downside you have of him missing that first month, all of that. And there is a good amount of downside to that one for sure. All right. So we need to get another QB soon. Might honestly be the time to try to accomplish that, just given where we are. Will Levis is here, a little bit ahead of ADP, but we need him. Will Levis, come on down. QB2, Will Levis with AR. We got a double with him with DeAndre Hopkins and Tyjae Spears. Will Levis, one of my higher exposed QBs on the year, though his price tag on BBM has come up enough that I'm not getting him quite as regularly with Derek Carr being for free and again being a starter. But Will Levis, not a guy I love coming out of Kentucky. I feel like I should point that out too in hindsight. But his usage last year was encouraging. The Brian Callahan offense coming in, also encouraging. And Levis's camp reports, I think, encouraging enough. Wouldn't say it's a drumbeat of him being good, but a drumbeat of him being useful, being okay enough. It's also Dan Steiner that strong arm the Shanahan's into bringing him back when he was also likely to get re-injured, then firing them because RG3 wanted to go out in the field and die. I guess that's a little more color there. That makes sense. It was a different time in football too. You know, they didn't exercise maybe as much caution for guys as they should. Didn't develop passers as well as either. I mean, RG3 was a better passer than like Vic, but like Mike Vick probably in this era would be a much better passer just from the inertia of playing, you know, more 7-on-7s, getting coached up better. Somebody who knows how to handle his talent. Just a different time frame. We've done any drafts in the $5 Superflex on Drafters. Fun change of pace. Not a Superflex guy, so no. And yeah, I'm just doing as many Drafters million entries as I can get in basically on stream. For the Superflex stuff, I love that they have it. Think it's good for you guys if you enjoy Superflex. I hate like the panicky rush in Superflex of this. I got to get QB. And then if you don't take QB early and you're like, sick, I got this McCaffrey Jefferson team. And it's like, oh, my QBs are Kenny Pickett. Like last year, I guess would be more the case. My QBs are Kenny Pickett and fucking Baker Mayfield. And like, it's just Zach Wilson. Like, it's not a good scene. That's why I don't enjoy Superflex that much. But I get, you know, same principles. I think it's important to have, you know, different tournament structures for different people. Bigsby at 169 here. I think that's where he should be priced, but most people don't. This guy with his name being Markham Asylum. That's a silly name. It's a real dork name. And in a sport, in a situation here where we're all dorks here drafting fake fantasy teams anyway. I like gambling, so that's pretty cool. But I would say that Markham Asylum, a level of dorkdom, an impressive level of dorkdom. Commitment to dorkdom. $15 tournament, much better value than Superflex with projected overlay. Yeah, that's it too. I mean, to the site's credit and to all of their credits, even DK, all the flagship tournaments here are like the best EV tournaments, at least based of what I've seen from the EV grinders out there. Now, Quasi is doing the ads here. Not to mention all the promos, free entries, but there are a lot of promos going. Again, getting 6 entries this weekend if you want another free one in the Drafters Million. Of course, we'll be giving away entry at the end of the video as well. So stay tuned no matter what. We're giving away 1 entry at the end of the video. So that's it. The days of 2 are done. We got Isaiah Likely here. Doesn't make the most sense. Deshaun is falling, but doesn't correlate with anything for me here. And we can't really, hard to do a bailout Deshaun. Like we need tight end here. I'm going to do Noah Fant. No correlation, but the other choices for tight end are going to be like Kylan Granson, Chig, or Josh Wiley. Neither one of those excite me too much. Mike Vick and an RPO read option spread offense to go crazy. Yeah, he just used 2 out of his time. I mean, the good news is that I wish we didn't have the dogfighting thing so we could just look back on them and have no guilt about any part of it. Because the dogfighting thing is like a pretty gross part of the back part. but he really is one of those guys where like he was so fucking important. Like he and Allen Iverson are two parts of the lore of their sports where they were like such central characters to the moment in time they came out, and then defined everything that came after it. Like for the NBA, for Iverson, just like the little guy thing, the crossover, the swag, the culture, like the whole thing, the dressing down to the point that the NBA had to put in, a wardrobe code that then made all the guys into little, wannabe fashion models. So influential. And for Michael Vick, just being like this one guy who could throw it 80 yards and fucking also run a 4.3. You just don't see guys like that too often. And now, like a guy like Jaden, like if you gave Mike Vick Jaden's run out, he'd probably be a better, he wouldn't be as good of a passer, but he'd be like, that's the ceiling there. But those guys, I don't think they'll ever get lost to like the embers of time, but it's a little sad, I think. Still going to make it up at tight end, but I do want to add the third QB. Deshaun at 186 just feels pretty good. And we have Ford and Chubb. Fuck, man. I was planning for Bo Nix this whole time. I'm taking Deshaun. It's not a logical stack, but it's a 30-pick discount in a total points league, and I was going to take a third QB anyway. So Deshaun stacked up with Jerome Ford and Nick Chubb, so we're basically fading the receivers in this Cleveland bet here. Got our third QB. Going to get a little more upside for it. There we go. Who needs Vic when we've been blessed with Lamar? Vic's top speed was better. And his throwing was a little better. At least, throw power be a little bit higher. Allen Iverson was more media than anything he was doing wrong, if I recall that right. Wasn't that he was doing anything wrong? Well, yeah, it was media. It was that he looked like a gangbanger. He also, had gotten railroaded, I believe, in a sexual assault case in Virginia Beach when he was growing up or something, if I'm remembering correctly. I could be a little bit off base about that, but he got railroaded for something legal, which I think they did a documentary on. He was also like a stud football player. Like Allen Iverson was one of the best QBs in Virginia when he was growing up as well. He was just a unique character. He couldn't shoot threes for shit. That's the one thing. And if you go back in his numbers, like just out of curiosity, Basketball Reference. Like if I had to guess, he's probably got a low true shooting percentage, high usage. Probably had some high assist points in his career. This is a very dorky convo, but bear with me. It's the weekend, guys. I don't have a beer. I got to look up AI numbers. All right, so Basketball Reference. So the main things in basketball is a separate lesson here. Main things in basketball generally are going to be that you want to have guys with high usage because that means they're holding the ball a lot, dominating the ball a lot. Good shooting, true shooting percentage. Guys like Steph Curry are like 61% or better. So AI, like a 50% true shooter. High usage, though, 35, 37% usage. Like we're talking Michael Jordan level usage. And he was also assisting the ball here. So we're talking 38% plus 28%. So we're talking like almost 70% of the time he had the ball on the court during his peak year. I think this is around when they made the finals. So AI was just like dominating the ball, basically. Fun player, though, but he definitely was like, he just had the ball in his hands nonstop. And he couldn't shoot as well as it seemed. Even the mid-range, like his mid-range shot was pretty inaccurate if you have a 51% true shooting. All right. RBs here. Would like to get one more. Justice Hill, we know, is in the mix with Derrick Henry. At a certain point, he might lose the job to Keaton Mitchell, but I still like Justice Hill here. Much the same way as Tank Bigsby. RB6, RB5 in some builds. We're looking good. AI was amazing for his stature, what he could do, one of the best ever. I mean, he was fearless. That's the main thing. Like, I think the advanced analytics, there's a lot of guys you look back historically and you go, just a little bit of a usage merchant, a little bit of a ball hog, whatever kind of thing. But him, again, being able to assist at that high of a level, get into the rack as often as he did fun stuff. Just wish he were a little bit of a better shooter. If you were a better shooter, he's like, he's a different version of Steph Curry historically. But that wasn't the game at that point. AI changed the game between culture and his play. They made a documentary about his influence of the game. Also, the popularity in China. I didn't know the China part, actually. I did not know that. I feel like, what's Eric Bledsoe? Not Eric Bledsoe. Who's the fucking guy? I feel like Steve Francis was in China a lot. Marbury, too. Marbury was actually pretty important for China as well. Marbury should have been a better player. We're just talking mid-90s basketball here. This basketball streak. It's round 18, guys, in a 20-round draft. Bear with me. No beer, round 18 and 20 round draft. We have to talk about Stephon Marbury a little bit and Allen Iverson. So where Mike Vick talk gets you. All right, we got 3 QBs. I'm going to take Tillman here. I think Tillman, because we have this bet on Cleveland. He's a guy I want to get a little bit more of. He's a starter for the team. He's playing outside. Going to play a little bit less than Judy for sure, but Tillman's in the mix enough that I think if you have a Deshaun stack, you have a Oppo stack for week 17, you can put Tillman on there. Cleveland, Miami. Got the Marbury sneakers. I feel like weren't they like really poor quality in the beginning? I think that was their issue. I remember when I was a kid, I had the Grant Hill Fila's. That was one of my first sneakers when I started to like care about sneakers a little bit. Then I had some Kobe's. I definitely had AIs at one point. I had the AI, like the AI 3s. I think they were Reeboks. Those are pretty nice. It's Carter for China too in Canada. Sure. Greg, reaching on both your Washington receivers. Tough scene. I mean, look, Diami Brown in round 17, I don't think it's a reach at this point. Neither is McCaffrey at 188. Those are just normal spots. Tough scene for your, you know, for you wanting them, but I think that's their price tag now. Is this real, Big Lenny? Allen Iverson banged my mom? Are you trying to claim to be AI's son, Big Lenny? I don't think AI's son would love Christian McCaffrey as much as you do. That's funny. It's a funny thing to say. And it doesn't sound like the kind of thing you would say as a joke. Reaching today, not at the close. Yeah, I mean, that's sure. I mean, in April or in August drafts, rather, last 2 weeks, talked about it here. I mean, it's a little more of a BBM thing based on the data. You know, as Tyler, our guy, Emo Cowboys, pointed out a few times, Mike Leone's data says that like round 14 on to round 18 at this point of draft season is when you have the ability to just move around your ADPs. And I guess kind of same thing here for drafters. Though I do think at this point, McCaffrey's price tag being 180s, I've seen that in every room. Diami being in this range is not crazy to me. I think it's just having to adapt a little bit more to some of the stuff. Rest in peace, Virgil, the pro wrestler. Oh, okay. If anyone remembers Virgil from the WWF, he did the same to me. Virgil fucked your mom. That's actually very fun. So Virgil's like a meme at this point. We're going to make some draft picks, but Virgil, I got to find this because that is one of the funnier ones I've ever heard. Okay. We got a pick coming up. You're going to make the pick. We're going to talk Virgil more in a moment. We got 7 receivers here. I'm too busy laughing at this. Alec Pierce is a good pick as well at this point. Again, he looked good in that last game. I was encouraged. So this is like the meme here. And you can even see from the title. I don't even have to pull up the full thing. This is just sad. Virgil, wrestling superstar. Him with nobody next to him is what we're looking at here. Okay, we can't open the full page. But yeah, basically, this is like a meme that's gone on for a while. So Virgil bang your mom is very funny to me. Because he's basically just became like a grifter. He would do these shows, would charge people for autographs and stuff. Like would go like, oh yeah, like let me take a picture with you, and like would take a picture of them and then be like, oh, that's $50. Just the biggest grifter. That's a very funny one. AI would be much cooler than Virgil, but both unique and special in their own ways. Third tight end here. Been taking Chig a little bit. Josh Wiley, lower own play. But I think Chig is still the primary tight end bet here. So we're going to go Chig for tight end 3. Final team on this one. We got AR, Will Levis, Deshaun Watson as our QB room. We got Jonathan Taylor, Tyjae Spears, Jerome Ford, Ty Chandler, Nick Chubb, Justice Hill. Of course, giveaway coming after this one, guys. So don't leave now. Going to draft that free entry in a moment here. A.J. Brown, Michael Pittman, Tank Dell, Cortland Sutton, DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Cooks, Cedric Tillman, Alec Pierce. In a 20-round draft, maybe could add one more receiver in the early 100 range, but I'm perfectly okay with this room. If you get the top 5 and you like your top 5 receivers in the top 100, it's like all you need really for me to feel okay about the team. Mark Andrews, Noah Fant, Chig Okonkwo here. I think Josh Wiley, an equally valid pick, but we got Chig in round 20. I think that's okay. Let's go to the giveaway tool here. Hashtag, I think it's got to be hashtag Virgil. It's got to be hashtag Virgil. Hashtag Virgil. Do we want to do banged? How about this hashtag Virgil? We'll keep it simple. So giveaway here for the $15 entry ticket. Of course, the Drafters Million. Hashtag Virgil on the screen. Here you go. Paste it in chat as well. I'll give you guys a minute to get your entries in. We're giving away just one entry today. So once I spin the wheel, we are done. So get an entry. We'll give it away. We'll email Drafters on Monday. Usually they get back to me within the next few days, end of week at the latest. They'll get you the ticket for sure. Imagine with some urgency coming up. Of course, another giveaway coming up tomorrow on stream as well. So come back at 11 a.m. for another double header and another giveaway. Let me move myself. I like being up here more. Bigger screen. You get more of me. That's what we all want. I also no longer have AR on my team, so I'll take the jersey off. Oh, my hat and the jersey coming off. Any more layers coming off here? A lot of hair going. All right. Entries got 28 in. One more minute. Oh, I don't want to do it backwards. You know, to get to see the glorious money sign here. I'll be doing another 2 drafters tomorrow at 11 a.m. Doubleheader, though. We're done for today. All right. Last call here. 3, 2, 1. Hashtag Virgil. Much classier than hashtag Virgil banged Spurious News' mom. Oh, what a day. Who's the winner? Mr. Popinski is the winner. Mr. Popinski, please leave me a comment after the video ends with your Drafters username. You have won a $15 entry to Drafters Million. You guys out there, again, very high likelihood of overlay on Drafters. So the best you can do for yourself right now, go to drafters.com. Promo code SPLASH on there will get you a $100 deposit match right away. You then enter basically $200 worth of entries. You'll get free entries at 10. If you answer 6 this weekend, you get another free entry. If you put in 18, you'll get 3 free entries. It's a lot of free entries going on Drafters right now. And the big thing is because there's going to be overlay in the tournament, likely about $400K worth. It's just easier for you to win money, easier to have a shot at one of those big prizes. And that is the best thing you can do for yourself. Legitimately, this is an ad, but it's one of those things that, like, if you got to learn anything about gambling, overlay, decreased VIG, decreased juice, no rake on a tournament, that shit goes so far for your bankroll, more than you'll ever realize, especially if you build any decent teams at all. And last year I finished top 110 with only 9 entries because of basically the same overlay you're going to get this year. So check it out, drafters.com. Of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Hit that like button as well. There we go. We got it. And I'll be back tomorrow for another doubleheader, guys. So, hey, it's been fun hanging out. Appreciate all you guys. Appreciate the super chats as well. Kind words about what I'm trying to work through with Probably. And, hey, I'm going to go do some work on that now. So I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Enjoy your days. And, of course, good luck. Enjoy your weekends if I don't see you again. Bye-bye.